a fresh cup of coffee. I hate to laugh at that. I just can't imagine that type of calm for what you're about to do.
He's professional. This is some GTA type stuff, bro. This is some Assassin's Creed.
Ferg, who go gets coffee? You usually drink like some liquor. Who gets coffee before an assassination?
Assassins. How many assassins you know? What up? It's Three Brothers, No Sense, your favorite barbershop style podcast. This your boy Ferg. Join my co-host Rozzy and Buff. Fellas, what it do?
Feel like there's quite a bit to get to today. I'm gonna just go over a couple of things. I assume you guys will probably touch on the rest. But I know Rozzy is usually the one that puts out TV shows to check out. But as a former Madden football player, there's a documentary on Amazon Prime called It's in the Game. And it's talking about, the whole creation and how Madden came about. Some interesting nuggets in there. Like, I didn't realize Madden was that involved. Like, watching football and watching him commentate, he never brought it up or mentioned it. So I just thought he was just somebody who face they put on the game and he collected a check. But now, man, he had heavy
Come here,
input.
TJ.
Heavy input on the that's Ferg Daddy right now. But man, he had a lot of input on the game, and he wanted it to be as realistic as possible. So check that out, especially if you're a Madden game player or used to play. Something we talked about in past shows is this Tennessee law. It finally hit the Supreme Court yesterday. We're recording on Thursday. But if you don't remember, the Tennessee law, they and 23 other states have been banning the use of puberty blockers and transgender care for minors. And they've been taken to the Supreme Court, and they're trying to, parents of those minors are trying to say that it's unconstitutional for a state to decide what type of care their kids get. Tennessee's arguing that you can't be allowed to give kids puberty blockers and things like that. I think the important thing to know is puberty blockers have been given to minors for decades for people who needed to delay their puberty. Like, you have some kids that reach puberty way too soon, and so it's given to them to slow down that process. So it's just going to be interesting to see, because remember, we have a 6-3 conservative court. So it'll be interesting to see how that decision goes. And the only other thing I got, man, is I was reading an article about basically the journalist was, I guess you can say, disappointed in Cheryl Hines. Cheryl Hines is not only the co-star of Curb Your Enthusiasm, where she plays Larry David's wife, but she's also the real life wife of Robert Kennedy. So this reporter was saying, how she has for the last few years been waiting for her to leave RFK Jr. because of some of the statements he's made and the beliefs he's made, and now he's going to be Trump's health security, Secretary of Health. And she's been waiting on her to leave him. And it's like, she says she finally gave up and just realized, hey, Cheryl's in on this too. I saw similar things about Melania Trump during the Trump years. I seen similar things about Senator J.D. Vance's wife and how people are hoping that she somehow, I guess, moderates him. Look, man, y'all can start hoping for that, especially when it comes to Melania. And in her memoir, she pretty much told y'all, I'm down. So all that feeling sorry for her and she is a captive and all that stuff. Nah, man, they know they've been married. They know what they got. They good with it. So I would just suggest don't project what you would do or your beliefs on these women. These women know the situations they're in. They like it, so we need to love it. That's all I got, man.
You like it, I love it. That's how I say it. Let's see. I want to start a little porn heavy. So first off, China has OnlyFans now. So, and if you guys know, China is real big on censorship, and they decide what they will allow into their internets and all of that. But they have decided that they're going to let the Chinese populace have OnlyFans. And I don't know how that's going to work, because North Korea, they gave Russia some troops in Ukraine. And when they got to Ukraine, they started getting addicted to Pornhub, because that was the first time that they were ever able to get some porn. So, should I say corn? I'll just bleep it out. Whatever. So
you have to edit it.
Yeah, I'll edit it out. Anyway, either way it goes. So it's just, the Asia and the East is opening up to, corn stars. So we'll see how this works. I don't know if they're going to be, limiting what they can actually see or whatever on there, but they actually have the site and they're letting them do that. So, get ready for an influx of, I don't know, Asian OnlyFans accounts or Chinese OnlyFans accounts, because along with being able to do it is being able to upload to it. Or watch it is being able to upload to it. So anybody that's on the OnlyFans bandwagon and they like doing that, I just wanted to report that out to you guys. And finally, when it comes to just the I stay in this whole grain of kinks and things like that, Carnival said they don't want your kinks on their boats. So Carnival has decided to ban upside down pineapples. And anybody who knows anything about it, what an upside pineapple does is, it's a sign for swinging. And so swinging is a huge thing on cruises. And so you see upside down pineapples, people will mark their rooms with it, those types of things, or so I've heard. So, but Carnival has said that, nope, you can't do that. And if they see it, then they'll remove it off of your door. You can't advertise that you're doing that. So we'll see how that works. I don't know if that'll might make people stop cruising with Carnival and go to other cruise lines.
Did something happen? Why does Carnival care who's swinging?
Probably because it can make other people uncomfortable, because it goes on. We did a cruise this past summer, no upside down pineapples. No pineapple, I guess, is what you would say. But it's so you wouldn't even know you're getting hit on, like, because the pineapples, when somebody told us about it, we thought it was going to be like, oh, it's going to look, you're going to just see this shirt with a pineapple on it and it's going to be like a pineapple, which there were some shirts that's like, yep, it's the pineapple. Like, they were like, yep, it's me.
Right.
But it'll be like that shirt you have on, that hoodie you have on, Buff, like if there was an eye on it, that the dot of the eye might be a pineapple, and it's like little subtle hints, and you're like, don't realize that you're, oh yeah, we'll buy you drinks, and it's just like, it's going on, and it's just we were on a pineapple watch the whole trip, because I'm like, I didn't see any pineapples, but like, what you talking about? There's like 10 in the pool with us. I'm like, no. There's like, go look at that mug, go look at those shorts. I'm like, oh, that's why they were so friendly. Yeah, like, you just never know. So
yeah, and I think what happens is, before, nobody knew about it. I think it became popular, and now a lot of people know what it is. And so, to Ferg's point, it's just starting to make people uncomfortable, right? I see the pineapples now. I'm walking down the gangway or down the aisle on my floor, and I walk by a room that has the pineapple on it. It's like, oh, what's going on in there? That type thing. And so I think they are just like, they want to be a little more family friendly. And Carnival is kind of known as the family friendly cruise line, if you really think about it. They cater to it. You've got, there's a couple of them, Virgin and Royal Caribbean. They have adult only cruises and ships. So I think Carnival, I think Carnival kind of wants that family friendly environment. And so they are like, nope, we're not going to have it on our boats. So we'll see how it all works out. But I was interested. I was enthralled reading about this. I'm like, wow, I did not know. I didn't know it was that big of a thing. So yeah. And finally, man, I just get off of the sexual stuff. I just want to talk about Cross. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
I haven't finished it.
You haven't finished it? It is awesome. It is so good. They did a really, really good job of taking the books and keeping the intrigue behind it, the mystery, like the twists and turns. And I swear, and I promise you, I cried on every episode. Like I literally shed tears on almost every episode.
Oh yeah, I can see that being triggering.
Yeah, because and I'm not giving anything. Like the first scene of it is him losing his wife. The whole season is him dealing with the loss of his wife. And so, every time they got to those scenes where he was dealing with that, I was like, I know what he's feeling like. And it would just trigger me, man, and I would like start crying. I watched the whole thing already, and then I started watching it with Leah, and then like she cried. She was like, I
she
knew
felt
you
like
were
the girlfriend.
Yeah, well, not just like the girlfriend, but she was like, I knew you were hurting, but this is the first show that has like put me in your mindset. And she's like, I'm sorry for you to have gone through that. Like she was crying for me, not necessarily just because of what was happening. And it's just, the show is so good, but that whole little storyline, man, it hits home, and and they do it so well. So
yeah, there was a line, and I'm a paraphrase, but somebody was asking him how are the days going. He's like, some days are bad, and other days are horrible, like or worse. Mm-hmm. It's no good days, And you said something like that before, and I remember that. And what I meant by her feeling like the girlfriend, I'm not trying to compare, but I think that was a character she can relate to, being in a situation where you see this dude who's going through it, and you want to be there and try to help pull him out of those things, and be supportive. And then as you experience, almost like you said, watching the show, she felt your pain. And then there was an episode where they were doing some family stuff, and some stuff came up where she felt his pain.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of like, wow, like I did not even see this coming. So you said you watched it though, right, Buff? Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I don't want to give it away because some of our listeners might not watch it, but a really good show. Z can't watch it. Z she made it to probably maybe the third or fourth episode, and she's like, I ain't doing this no more.
Right.
It's a good show. I think it was just too dark for her. But they got some good acting. Buddy, what's his name? Is it Danny? Who's the black villain? Bobby.
Oh yeah, Bobby, yeah.
That
Bobby,
dude, that dude is just
something like that.
Yeah. Even the restaurant, the crawfish, the Baton Rouge crawfish or whatever it was, when he was like, if this ain't good, I'm come back. I ain't gonna ask for no money type shit. And it's kind of like, it was like, what the heck? I'm just kidding with you, man. I'm just kidding. I'm like, dude, this dude is crazy.
He puts off that like 2 Johns, like that's a big boy. At 6'4", like Aldous Hodges isn't small, and so whoever the guy that's playing, his partner, like it's huge. I was like, dang, but it's just, man, I can't sing the praises. There wasn't a bad episode. Like that, there's not a lot of shows that you can say that like, some shows they're good overall, but they have a slow episode that builds or something like that. Like there are no bad episodes. Every episode had something that you're like, oh my God, like mind blown from it. So
speaking of that, great shows,
go watch it.
Speaking of great shows, Buff, did you ever decide to watch The Penguin?
I have not watched The Penguin yet.
Right. I will say it's probably one of the better or best shows I've seen in a long time. I can't say there was a bad episode. I saw somebody rating shows that they watched last month, and they gave shows anywhere between in movies Like they gave Gladiator 2, I think a 4.5 or a 5, and they gave Penguin a 10. They're like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like I couldn't find fault with that show. And I agree. Like at worst, it was an 8. You know, and that's me trying to be nitpicky, and that's not. I would say a 9 because I just don't give 10s. But if I was going to give a show a 10, you know, it really was good. So, you had anything else, Rozzy?
No, man, that's it.
Okay, I'm gonna jump into a couple of things. Speaking of shows, I haven't seen it yet, and I thought you might have brought it up. Was Star Wars Skeleton Crew on Disney?
Oh yes.
Have you seen that yet?
I watched the first 2 episodes. They dropped. That's the only 2 that have dropped so far.
Yeah.
I think the next one drops this coming Tuesday. But
I haven't watched it yet.
It's actually pretty good. The first episode's not great. It just builds like everything that's happening, but the second episode it really kind of picks up and it gets really good. So it's a good Star Wars show.
I haven't watched it yet. I saw the previews the other day, and I thought about watching it with the kids. I didn't know if it was, because it's based off of some kids, I didn't know if it was more kid-centric. Is it more of a family Star Wars?
Ollie watched it with me, and he was super, like, he was getting into it. He wanted to watch the next episode. So, yeah, I definitely think it's one that you could probably watch with the kids.
So I thought about it as a way to introduce the family to Star Wars. So I thought I just wanted to get your opinion on it. And I'm going to get a little, I'm going to go a little in both of your directions. I'm going to go a little political with pardons. This has been a weird week. So, of course, President Joe Biden has pardoned his son, Hunter Biden. And you have a lot of people up in an uproar. How do you fellas feel about that?
Good for him. If you look at the crime that Hunter, like, he didn't take someone's life or anything like that. The only fault that I would have with,
he said he wasn't going to do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was no need to say that. So that's the only thing. You never should have said you wasn't going to do it.
And I think he probably had all intentions of not doing it. But this recent, when you start looking at the last couple of weeks with Trump's like, it's just like you see the writing on the wall. It's like, man, why am I trying to be the good guy when this guy's about to come and just lay waste to everything and do what he wants to do? He has Linda McMahon as the chair of
Education
Department of Education. Like, it's like, I'm Secretary of Education. I'm like, he's like, what am I doing? Why would I let my son go to jail if this dude's just going to do what the hell he wants to do?
I think he was waiting on the sentencing. I really do. I think it was just, he gets found guilty. I'm not going to pardon him if he's getting, a fine and some home confinement or whatever. But if, they tried to put him in prison, he's like, nope, pardon. So, which is exactly what I would have done, right?
The reality is all presidents do pardons, all of them. So why in the world would you ever so your son is headed to prison and you gonna pardon other people and not your son? Like, that was never a realistic thing. He wasn't waiting on sentencing. It doesn't matter what Trump did or was about to do. He was never going to let his son go to prison while pardoning other people. And so that's something that no Democrat should have ever bought. And I think we're lying to ourselves if we think any different that he wasn't going to do this.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree there.
That.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I say sentencing, I'm just saying is if he wasn't, if they hadn't given him prison time, he probably wouldn't have pardoned, right? There's no reason to pardon him. Like, you did it, slap on the wrist or whatever. So I think that's what I mean by that. It's like, oh, y'all sending him to prison. Oh, okay. Nope. Like, it just change it right there. So I agree with what he did. I don't mind it because I saw it coming.
Me either. What's the point of being a president? Yeah, you gotta. You're the highest office of the land. Like, hey man, I don't know.
What would other prisoners have to say to Hunter? Damn, dog.
Hey, get a look at this. Get a look at this guy. But the reason I said what I said was there's rumblings that the White House is kind of being preemptive to pre-pardon certain people that they think the Trump administration is going to go after.
I don't like that. I don't. For two reasons. One, I think it gives a false sense that they did something wrong. And so there's also that, right, where it's like you're taking the easy route by pre-pardoning me, but there's nothing for you to really pardon me from because I didn't do anything. So it's.
But you're using logic. It doesn't matter what they've done. So you're looking at it in a regular situation. If you knew, like, hey, as soon as he gets in office, he doesn't like Italians. So any Italian in the political world, he's going to attack. He's like, well, I'm just going to do a Italian protection bill or something like that. I think that's what's going on. We're not talking about normal times. We're talking about a guy who had to pardon his son and is like, because I know that you're going to go after. It's not a possibility. It's a possibility, but he's been pretty vocal that, you're enemies of the country. Like, he's making them almost like terrorists, they're committing treason. And one of the people I think they're considering is Dr. Fauci, like, because of the things he was saying during the pandemic. I'm like, this is real. This guy probably saved millions and millions of lives, but because he disagreed with your stance or whatever, you're going to potentially seek legal or criminal action against him. This is real. Like, I wouldn't like this under normal circumstances. You make it sound like that we did something wrong. It doesn't matter if you did anything wrong. He's coming after you. I don't know. It's just so weird. I've never heard. Buff, have you heard anything like that in the past where somebody pre-pardons people?
Well, he did. He talked about it in his first term when he was getting ready to leave. He was like, well, he had been under so many investigations, and he floated the idea I can pardon myself now if I wanted to. So Trump has floated that idea.
Let me re-ask a question. Have you heard anything like this before? Not revolving around or involving Trump? I guess no. That's okay. My bad. I said
my
myself.
Question is, how do you pardon somebody that hasn't been found guilty? Like, I can understand giving immunity, right? Like granting immunity, but to say you're pardoning them, they haven't been found guilty of anything. What are you pardoning, right? Like, I don't know the mechanics of that, but I'm trying to figure out how they would even do that. Usually when you pardon somebody, you're like, oh, you've been charged with these things, right? Or found guilty of these things. I am going to pardon you from that guilty plea or that, guilty verdict. So how do you do that when it's just like this blanket, oh, I'm pardoning you for anything that you've done in the past? I don't know. I don't even know how that works.
Nobody does. It gets the people going.
Right.
So, yeah, I have no idea. But let's go ahead and jump into the show, fellas. Is Sophie available?
Yeah. Hold on one second. Let me go.
Hi, here's your report.
Thanks, Jane. I wish I could hire a whole team of yous.
Try posting a job on LinkedIn. It's the world's largest professional network. Unlike resumes, LinkedIn gives a real-time view into a candidate's skills, experiences, and more.
Huh, let's do it. You're irreplaceable, Jane, but another you would be great.
Find your perfect match with LinkedIn. Post your free job at linkedin.com/achieve. That's linkedin.com/achieve. Terms and conditions apply.
Clorox Scentiva smells like lavender. Cleans like Clorox. And feels like...
All right, that could go on for a while. Experience the long-lasting freshness of Clorox Scentiva. Now available in Clorox Scentiva Lavender Scented Bleach. Use as directed.
Hi. Salutation.
Good evening.
Hey.
Good evening.
Is that your gi on?
It is my gi. Ooh.
Okay, gi Sophie.
This gi Sophie.
Taekwondo.
It is Gi Sophie.
Black stripe belt.
Yeah.
From Bonnet
I got
Sophie.
it's a red stripe with a it's a red belt with a black stripe.
That's what I see. So I mean, you never know what Sophie's gonna get.
It's for the people who aren't watching and are just listening. They don't know what I'm holding up.
Touche.
Yeah. You have to be inclusive.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Hopefully one day we have to be inclusive again. What do you have for us?
We'll figure it out. It's all right.
Yeah. What you got?
All right. Why did the gym close down?
It didn't work out?
Damn you.
Yeah, I was gonna say he got that.
This is why I hate giving you guys time. That's why I don't give you guys time.
Hey man, I think the audience likes when we get it every once in a while. It's a banter.
I don't like it.
It's not about you, Sophie. It's about the people. You got to give them what they want.
No, I had another.
There's no I in show business.
But there is a me.
And there's an I too.
Hey. We don't need anybody
I don't think
bumping.
there is a me.
Yeah.
All right, rest in peace to boiling water. You will be missed. Y'all ain't getting no time no more.
I like
that one.
Yeah, that was good.
No more time for you guys. You guys already got one. You don't get another.
Hey, man. Hey.
That wasn't like an answerable joke though.
Right.
That was kind of like, you know,
Yeah.
That's the whole point. That's why I picked it in case you guys got it.
Hey, Sophie, you can't be a sole loser. You can't be a sore loser.
I stand on that.
No.
All right, girl. Go finish your homework.
Yeah, go finish.
Pain.
Love you.
Alrighty. Let's go ahead and jump into it though. Who's up first?
I can go. I think because we just did Rozzy last week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is true.
Right. So you want to go or me, Ferg?
You can go, sir. You already volunteered.
All right. So I feel like Democrats are still struggling with the results of the election, and it's been discussed quite a bit. So this will be probably the last time in a while. Who knows what comes up? But I just wanted to ask one last, and it's not even necessarily a political per se question, but CNN and MSNBC both have seen significant drops in their ratings after the election. CNN saw like a 27% drop in ratings a week or two after the election, and MSNBC saw a bigger drop, up to 38% since the election. And I guess I just kind of wanted to know what is you guys' guess on why? Because obviously Fox News hasn't suffered, but why? Because they when he won in 2016, they didn't suffer these type of ratings losses. So why the change this time?
I want to know where those, like, the ratings dropped from. Where was it? Pre-election coverage, or is it a drop from election coverage to now? Because go ahead.
I was just there, like, because we're damn near in election coverage all year. So I'll just say, just like their recent ratings over a significant amount of time. I don't know if it was like a year or months, but their average has significantly dropped.
Yeah, and the reason why I asked that is I think they're using. I'll take myself for example, right? I don't watch either of them 24/7 every day. But when the election started kind of ramping up, I literally had it playing in the background all day long, right? Just trying to look for nuggets of what was happening while I was working. And I don't do that now. So I think what was happening was that the election was interesting, right? To a lot of people, and especially as it started ramping up and we saw Joe Biden not doing well, who was going to be the next person, people wanted to know and all of that. And then you saw Kamala come in and there was this excitement and there was things to talk about. And right now there's not a lot to talk about. Like, I can get my snippets from Facebook on their feed, or just go and, open it up in the morning, Washington Post in the email. Shout out to Leanne, right? Like I read her email newsletter every morning. So like that type of stuff, I think, is where I can get the news now, and I don't have to watch the CNN or MSNBC all day long. And so I think that's probably. Go ahead.
Let me interject. So why do you think that didn't happen when Hillary lost?
So let me answer that. I'll answer that second part then. I agree with everything Razi said. There is an increase in viewership around certain things, right? Just probably like anything, sports, the playoffs, college basketball. When you get to March Madness, we understand there's peak seasons. Election season's peak season. And this is something that probably happens every election cycle. What you're talking about, Razi. I think what Buff is talking about, I think people are, and I'll speak for myself, is I'm watching and listening to it less than I have in recent history, because I just want to escape it. I do not want to hear. I do not like. It's just, I think there's so many people who just don't want to hear it. Even like you probably heard different rumblings around the political party and just in a black community where, there's a lot of people just go, you know what, I've given up on politics. Like they're just like, you know what, we got to just start. There might be a black nationalist movement coming, because it's more people kind of like, you know what, I'm tired of doing this. I'm so tired of doing this. And once again, like we started the show talking about things that Trump is making not inventing, but bringing to the table that we've never seen before. I think this is the backlash from that. You were just like, man, I just don't want to hear it. I don't care about his picks. I'm just trying to get my stuff together, because, if I'm a woman, I got to plan on how this national ban is going to work. If I'm black or brown or whatever, what does Project 2025 do for me? How's this going to affect my living? I don't care anymore. I don't, my hopes have been squashed. America has shown me their true colors, and there's no new news.
Yeah.
What are you going to see on CNN today that it might just be more details, but it's the same story? We don't give a damn about women. We don't give a damn about minorities. We don't give a damn about, gun laws. We don't give a damn about kids. It's all about this and this. That is the news. There's nothing else to watch.
Yeah. And I agree 100% about just trying to avoid the bad news, because to your point about why it didn't happen with Hillary, and that is, I think those were normal elections for most people. If you really think about it, those were normal election cycles. Those were, I'm watching, I'm kind of interested. Let me figure out who I'm going to vote for. It wasn't this feeling, especially from the left, of, oh my God, if we don't beat this guy, America's going to burn, right? There was that feeling. And so those people that had that feeling flocked and watched and figured it out. And now they're damn it. Test. Testies. Test. Am I back?
Say something else. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So
yeah.
I think what's happened is people are so deflated now that they're avoiding it after that. Right. We had this huge uptick, and we even saw it. MSNBC and CNN both had like record viewerships during this election cycle as well. So the same way they got that bump when people were looking, because they felt that kind of onus to go ahead and figure out what was happening, and they wanted to follow it and all of that. I think now they're like, I don't want to hear about it. To your point, Ferg, I've got to escape for a little while. Let's see after January 20th. We'll see if something happens. I think it'll normalize out, and people will start watching again, back on their normal thing. And your second part about why Fox didn't feel it is, I feel like Fox, those folks are watching the same people that were watching before, that were watching Fox News. They're excited, and they're going to continue to watch Fox News. So I think their base didn't get alienated at all. They're excited. They're going to keep watching it.
And Fox with Trumpers are fans. Win or lose, he's entertaining enough. There's always something to talk about, even if you're talking about the opposing party and what they're doing wrong and what Trump's going to do to fix it. That was entertaining for their base. And I'll leave it with this. There's always going to be winners. There's always going to be losers. I look at this as a really bad breakup. I think most people have relationships. They break up with people. They get in and out of relationships. And I think we've all probably have been in that one where this one hurts. This one hits different. And so when that one hits different and you're kind of heartbroken and you don't know, you're reevaluating your values and I got to fix me and work on me. And, you know, I think that's where a lot of Americans are. This was a bad breakup with the country, you know, and they're taking time just to focus on what's important to them because they're not ready to get back in these streets. You know, they're not ready to get back in these political streets. It's just, I don't want to see it. I don't want to deal with it. You want to go out? You want to go out? You don't got it. No, I'm going to stay in, you know, watch reruns, binge watch shows. People aren't, you know, getting a bad breakup. You don't want to go out there and date. You don't even be around people that are dating. You know, I think that's where a lot of people are. I was watching, I forgot where I was at, but they had The View on. I was at a hospital and I think Whoopi, I think that's The View she's on, right?
Yes.
I think so,
yes.
yeah.
And she was like, hey, I think everybody just needs to take a break, unplug from this, because there's so many people who are just stressed out right now. Unplug from this, enjoy the holidays, and wait till January 20th and see what happens after. There's nothing we can do between now and then, or even probably after then. So just, you know, enjoy the holidays and keep the party going.
I think it's so from what I read, because I read an article on this and the people that interviewed pretty much said what both of you guys said. It's like, you know, they lived through a Trump presidency before and they just remember at a certain point after he had been in office, just the anxiety and stress they felt because there seemed like there was always something with him. And so now that he's reelected, they don't want to know everything that's going on right now. Like they need a break from it. So I agree with all that. I would just go a step further and one, just like I criticized Democrats, or I don't know if it was a criticism or if I was just asking the question. But I think, especially with the MSNBCs and the CNNs, I'm not sure how many people they were going out in the field and talking to. And so like when you have one party taking a position on, you know, protecting transgenders, minorities, immigrants that are coming to this country and things like that, it's easy to paint the other party as being unjust and evil and saying, hey, they want to take rights from these type of people and things like that. But you can report that, but still go out and talk to people and see how the people actually feel about it. And then I think you do your viewers a better service instead of, I think the media played in part as far as leading a lot of people to believe that, I mean, like even the smart motherfucker Brandon thought Kamala was going to win easily. Mm-hmm. And that's because it's so easy to think, well, hey, man, if they're restricting the rights of these people, there's no way those people are going to vote for them. But you go out there and you talk to the people, it's like, nah, we good with it. I'm a legal Mexican. I'm a legal immigrant. So I hate illegal immigration too. Build that damn wall. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's the type of information that they could have been putting out there. And also I will criticize the media because in his run up to becoming president the first time, you know, it's too bad that news has become such a for-profit business. I'm not disillusioned to think that, you know, back in the 70s and the 80s, it was just straight news and nobody cared. I know they've always wanted to have a certain bottom line when it came to the dollar, but now that it's 24 hours, news shouldn't be 24 hours, bro. News should not be 24. It's not that much going on all day, every single day. And so you have to fill it in with all these opinions and shit. And Trump equaled ratings for them in 2015 and 2016. He bragged about how he didn't have to spend a lot of money on ads. It's because they were covering every single thing he did and said. He didn't need to spend money like Hillary. Mm-hmm. Every rally, every tweet, everything he said, just walking from the Suburban to the Trump Tower, if he let out a statement, it would be like breaking news on what he said. They played a part in making him more and more popular as the months went on. And this country loves popularity, man. Part of a presidential contest is a popularity contest.
Yep. Name recognition, like understanding. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And they helped make him. And so a part of me is kind of glad that their ratings have failed because y'all played a part in helping him come to power. And I think if you look at how Kamala was covered at times and how they questioned her, like she didn't answer this type of question right, when this guy is saying the most lunatic things you've ever heard and they're putting that on the same level, it's because a part of them, I think, wanted to see him win because he's going to do all the crazy shit he did before and they can report on it and get viewers. And this time viewers are saying, nah, we've seen this movie before. We're not watching it again. And they didn't turn their asses off.
Yep.
So, yeah. But, yeah, that's just wanted to get your fellas' opinion on that, man. That's all I got.
Love it, man.
All right. I'm going to jump in. I'm trying to figure out how I want to pose this question because it can go one or two ways. It can be a very lighthearted question or it might take a turn. It's the holidays and, being emotional. How's your fellas' holidays starting off? You got to put your decorations up. You did any Christmas stuff yet?
Not really. We've been kind of lazy this year. I got to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, I put my decorations
I brought all the stuff up from the basement.
That's your job, right?
Well, and I'm waiting on them. I said, because we usually put up the tree the Saturday after Thanksgiving. I brought everything up. And everybody was doing their own thing, and nobody said it was time. I had the eggnog ready. I had the playlist ready. Didn't get it done. So, I'm
gotta be a leader, Byron.
I led that Christmas tree up them stairs.
You gotta open it up, start pulling it out.
Test the lights, like.
Yeah, testing them and all of that. So I put mine up Sunday because I was down for all class. So I drove back Saturday after the parade and everything. And then Sunday, we put the tree up and decorated a little bit and did that. So it's starting off fine for now. Starting a new job. And so that's a big deal for me and everything. So appreciate that. And so I'm just excited to see what the new year is going to bring with everything, man.
Okay. Well, so I'll ask the question like this, and I'll see where it goes. So I was driving I drop my kids off in the morning for school, and I always play Christmas music right after Christmas. Like Christmas music stays on my radio, my Pandora, all that stuff throughout the holiday season. And so Skylar asked me, Daddy, do we have any traditions, especially holiday traditions? And I'm kind of thinking like, we really don't necessarily have traditions, but Daddy has a couple of things that I do every year that I guess is a personal tradition for me, but it's not like a family thing. And she's like, we should start traditions. And it made me think about traditions, starting with traditions with the family. And then it made me think about any traditions or any just special long-term memories I have with like my family members, mom, dads, brothers, siblings, that if that is triggered by certain things. Like anytime I hear a song or hear it triggers a memory that's connected to a tradition or something like that. So I guess my question is, do you guys have any holiday traditions with your family, your current family? Did you have any holiday traditions growing up or special memories, maybe not around the holidays, that are triggered by certain things? And how important is that like, is that something that you want to do moving forward? So do you have any now? Do you have any in the past? Something, tradition or memories? And then are you planning on creating those because you see them being important to, your, more so for the kids, like 40 years from now, they're like, oh man, my dad we used to make eggnog every year, da 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 da, and he would act like he was putting some in my mind, and I'd act like I was drunk, and yada yada yada. The white shit you see on the Hallmark movies.
I don't think I have any Hallmark level type of traditions, and some of the traditions are in their infancy stage. But until this past Saturday, we've always put the tree up the Saturday after Thanksgiving while the Christmas playlist is playing, and me and Tab would be drinking some spiked eggnog. But just because we didn't do it this past Saturday, as long as we do it, I think it still falls in line with the tradition. We also have started going out to eat on Christmas Eve at a restaurant. And that just kind of started. We went to go see, so at Nationals Park, they have, they do it in several cities around the country too. I forgot exactly what it's called. They have a whole bunch of Christmas lights that you can just walk around. And they even give you a map where you're supposed to find, I think, about 12 different light sculptures that they have throughout this maze of light. But after we went to that, we went out to eat. I almost said the name of the restaurant, but I know how y'all like to do. I'm not going to even say it. But we went out to eat.
Shea Whitey's.
Now, what was the one on Martin? Shea Marie or something like that. But ever since then, we have made it a point to go out to eat on Christmas Eve. And the other one is every 5 years, we're going to go spend Christmas out of town. And so 6 years ago, we did Disney for Christmas. And then last year, we did New York. So in 4 years, we were going to do Chicago, but I'm going to see how they feel about Aspen. I want to see some snow mountains.
Nice.
So, but those are our little traditions. As far as growing up, we didn't really have any traditions, but it doesn't take away from how much fun I had for Christmas and how much I look forward to it. So no like set tradition. We always had a tree up, always had gifts under there. So if anything, that was the tradition of just being excited to wake up early, open my gifts, and see what I got. Well, you know what? Here's a tradition I used to do. The gifts under the tree, I would always tear a little hole in the gift wrap to try to see what it was, and then I'll make sure I turn it back where that side was facing the floor so my mom wouldn't know. So I usually had a pretty good idea of what I had for Christmas. That was my tradition, to see what I had.
Nice. Buff, I know you're rich, so Aspen, it's just normal for you. But for us normal folks out there, you might want to check out Breckenridge or Vail in Colorado. Those are really, really nice as well.
Those are all nearby, right?
Yeah,
they're all nearby.
Aspen,
yeah, but not near the Aspen.
I don't have to be in Aspen. I know I looked it up and those areas came up as well.
Yeah,
so it doesn't have to be Aspen.
Yeah,
it can be those areas.
But Breckenridge, we ended up on the stage with the Black Eyed Peas while we were in Breckenridge.
So we will, or for people in my price bracket, you can always go to Gatlinburg, Tennessee. The snow might not be real.
I was just about to ask, will there be snow?
Yeah, they pipe it in. It's not real, but it's okay. I mean, it's a big difference if you're going to spend the money, especially for you being, coming from DC, Buff. It makes more sense to fly to Colorado because it's probably the same price to fly to Colorado as it is to fly to Tennessee. And you're going to get the real snow and all of that. So I would definitely say go to Colorado. There.
I still haven't done my ugly sweater with the fireplace and the snow mountains, man. We were supposed to do that at SWAT, and some of y'all won't name no names, but didn't want to do like a cabin in the woods, and that type of thing.
It wasn't anybody on here.
It wasn't nobody on this call. So
it wasn't nobody on this call.
but let me know whenever if you are open to other people coming when you go to Colorado. Let us know, because I'm always down for a ski trip.
Absolutely, bro.
But I would want to do that before that. Now you got it in my mind that.
So we can always do that.
It don't have to be a Christmas trip. Yeah, we could just go one year. Let's do it.
So
when is ski season? I think we might try to go. I'm looking for a spring break thing for the kids, and
spring break might be too late for
early
MLK weekend is Black Ski Weekend falls on MLK weekend. So, but I know that's
for the singles.
It is, but it's still like that's the season, right? January-ish through, I think ski season starts in like December if you're going up north in Colorado, that type of thing. But, and it'll go through like April. So early April-ish. So definitely go. But to answer your question, I'll go through each one of them. Yes, we have current traditions. The one that I love the most is we go right after Thanksgiving and the kids pick an ornament to put on the tree. So every year they get a new ornament and, you just put the name and the year or whatever. And it's really, really cool. They have their own tree because Jen was OCD, and so she wouldn't let them put all their little ugly kindergarten macaroni ornaments and stuff on her tree. So she had a nice tree that she put together, and then she bought them a separate tree to put their macaroni noodle things and all the stuff they did in elementary school and pre-K and stuff. And then we started the ornament thing when they got about, Sophie was maybe 3 or 4. And so they get a new ornament every year, but it's kind of cool to go back and look at what the ornaments were each year. So they kind of pick and you get to see what they were interested in, what caught their eye, and so that's just really, really dope. Like Ollie got like a Power Wheel or like a Hot Wheel one year. Sophie got some headphones. They got what is it? I keep talking about My Little Ponies. So Sophie got a My Little Pony one year. The first year they did Taekwondo, they actually got ornaments from their Taekwondo place. So it's just really cool to go back and see what years they pick whatever there. We do that. We do one that I carried over from my family. So going back to if we had traditions growing up, we always exchange one gift, or they get to pick one gift to open on Christmas Eve. So it's just something to kind of look forward to, and they get to play with that one thing the night before and everything before bed. And then, we do the whole Santa Claus cookies and everything. They go to bed, and then they do the regular everything else the morning of. Trying to see if there's any other ones. Making lasagna. So I talked about how we don't do traditional like Thanksgiving food on Christmas. So we don't do the whole that type of meal. We do Italian. And so making the lasagna, and our lasagna we make from scratch, sauce, everything. And like last year was the first year I taught Sophie how to do it. So Sophie was in there kind of figuring out how to cook the sauce, layering it and everything else. And I'll probably let Ollie help me this year or maybe next year on making the lasagna. So making the lasagna, that's something that came from my dad, because my mom would cook Thanksgiving, my dad would cook Christmas. And so we had Italian food. And so that was just a real fond memory of the night before, Christmas Eve, pretty much 4 or 5 hours, we're in there cooking lasagna. And just being in there, and like you say, Christmas music going, my mom walking around cleaning the house because the house got to be clean for Christmas and everything. And so it'd be that, and we just be in the kitchen messing it all up. And so that was a really, really fond memory growing up that I continued on when we got here. And to your point, I do think traditions matter because it's gotten to the point where I don't have to say anything. The kids are like, we got to go get our ornaments. Like, because one year we didn't go right after Thanksgiving, and they got there and all the ornaments were sucky. And they were like, we can't find any good ones. And so they go really, really fast. I was surprised. And I'm guessing a lot of other people do that same thing. That's why they put ornaments out every year like that. But yeah, you go in Target and 4 days after Thanksgiving, and it's already like all the new ones that just came out, the new shows and stuff like that. You can tell the kids grab those. The Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse ornament is gone. You can see just the open little like rack. So they are really, really important for those kids to have those memories to think back. But Buff, you talk about the just kind of that Saturday, bringing out the eggnog, putting everything together. That's not. I mean, that's a tradition. We do that as well, right? I talked about Sunday. We did it. The kids were there, putting their tree together. And that's the other thing is I don't help them put their tree. So wherever those ornaments fall on that tree, it might look like the Grinch Christmas tree, but wherever they put them, that's what it is. I remember one year there was like no ornaments on one side of the tree. They like stuffed them all on one side of the tree, and that's how the tree looked for that whole year. So it's just fun, man, just having those and being able to look back on it. And I talk about those memories that, sitting there making the lasagna with my dad, figuring out how to do it, thinking I'm going to do it better than him, because eventually it got to where he'd make a pot of sauce and I'd make a pot of sauce, and we'd be like, who can make it better? And so now even me and my sisters, we all talk about it. Gigi makes the best sauce. I'll give it to her, but I got second best. And so like we all kind of compete to who has the best sauce, whose lasagna tastes the best, and all of that. And so you just get that from just that memories of being around and all of that. So parents out there, make those traditions. That like consistency makes a big difference. We talk about raising kids in general, right? Routines and those types of things, consistency where traditions are formed. They're not like, oh, this is going to be our tradition. Let's do this tradition. It's just kind of one of those things that we do it every year, and it becomes a tradition after the second or third year, because you're like, oh, we did it because it was fun to do that first time. Making gingerbread houses. We do that every year. Same with Halloween. We carve pumpkins every year, right? And so the kids are like, I remember this year, it was like 4 days before, and the kids kind of called out. They were like, oh, we haven't carved pumpkins yet. We got to go carve pumpkins. And so we literally had to go to the store, grab pumpkins, and we carved them that night, because it was like, when can we do it? And we had to figure it out. So they get to the point where they're like, we got to do these things, and they start kind of asking for them. That's how you know it's a tradition at that point. So the matching pajamas, I know that's one that, a lot of people do. So we do that the night before. So Christmas Eve, we get new pajamas and we do those.
Yeah,
y'all do the. I remember that. Yeah, y'all do the matching pajamas. So all those little things are traditions, man.
The family Christmas photos.
Not professionally, but Tab from her when she was trying to be an influencer days, she got the whole ring lamp and shades and the timer on the camera, so she makes us get in. So I know that tree going up at some point, because she don't want to take the magic pajama pictures
without a tree.
Yeah.
That's ludicrous, right? Yeah. Something else you wanted to share, Buff?
I was gonna say, just thinking back as Rozzy was talking, because like you said, sometimes it's not just, hey, this is the tradition, but just thinking like, me and my mom decorating the tree, man. That's just a memory I have that I guess you can call it a tradition, because like that's how I decorate the tree with them. Like we made, like Rozzy said, the kids put it all on one side, but my mom was like, really, I ain't gonna say adamant, but we made sure everything was spread out as evenly as possible. It's just a fun memory I have of just me and her, because it was just me and her most of the time. Man. So yeah.
Appreciate you fellas sharing. I mean, I think you both hit on some really good points and had some good traditions going on, and you're commend both of you guys for being intentional. And that's something I'm intentional about a lot of things. I struggle with those type of things, right? In my heart of hearts, I want that to be like, I feel like it should be natural to do those things, but it's not for me. And I guess I'm talking to people that don't have as many traditions or who struggle with it. Part of it was, I'm not really big on forcing people to do certain things, because I don't want it to become a burden, right? Like, oh, I got a soccer game today, but we got to put up the Christmas tree, like so those things. So it's kind of like, yeah, we're going to put up the Christmas tree at some point and all this stuff. But when I look back on it and think about my childhood, so I got to go in reverse. We didn't have a lot of traditions, and I'll take that back. The traditions I remember are around my mom and cooking. Like I was just helping my mom cook. That's why I learned how to cook, and that's where I got my passion for cooking and hosting and stuff. My mom didn't host, but she just cooked for everybody, and she would always take food to my grandmother's house. So for me, I think the tradition was the Ferguson clan going to my grandmother's house every year for Thanksgiving, for Christmas. Didn't matter what you did. You woke up at your house, you did what you needed to do, ate your food. But at some point, it was a tradition and almost like a must-have to stop by my grandmother's house at some point. Yeah.
Oh, that's one that I'm sorry. That's one that I meant. I thought about it when we were asking the question, and I totally missed it. But growing up, we had a tradition that my grandma's house, we did a breakfast at my grandma's house, and like you say, all the cousins. So it wasn't just you. The expectation you come by. It was like you didn't eat at your house. You came to my grandma's house 10 o'clock sharp, and we ate breakfast. And that was one that my mom tried to start back, and it just didn't work. We were in different cities and everything. And I think that was the beauty of everybody being in the same city, was that everybody came, and my mom missed that a lot, especially after my grandma died. It just kind of splintered, and that whole plan left. Yeah.
And we're feeling the effect of that too, because we would always, I would stop by my dad's mom's house, or, I might even stop by, either one of those houses. But we got to go by Annabelle Ferguson house. Somehow she had she had a gift for all her grandkids. And the older you got, you had hit a certain level when she had a fresh, crisp $20 bill with your name on it in a little envelope in it. And so you went by your grandma's house, to get your $20 so you can go to the dollar movie or the skating rink that night, because skating rink in Mobile jump Christmas night. That was that. And kind of what you were saying, Rozzy, is our kids gonna get that because we grew up in our own world. Like they didn't grow up in Mobile around family and stuff like that. But I definitely missed that, but that was a good memory. That was we always, my siblings and my cousins now, we talk about doing a family reunion. We never had family reunions growing up because the holidays was a family reunion. You had to go by, like, you can almost do a roll call. Like, hey, you seen Tremaine? He ain't come by here yet. I'll call him. Oh, he on the way. Like, we knew everybody at some point was going to come by. As far as my household, they're starting to kind of fall in on some of the things that I do. So I am a huge fan of, like I said, Christmas music every year. As soon as Christmas over, Thanksgiving's over, the day after, I'm playing Christmas music everywhere I go. And so now we listen to the car together, and my kids are asking and they're singing along and all that stuff. And I get a can of popcorn, 3-flavor popcorn, day after Christmas. So I'm going every year. I gotta go find my popcorn, and then I'm on a search for my Christmas cookies. I need a sugar cookie. I think it used to be Mother's sugar cookies. I don't think they make them anymore with the little Christmas trees, and they had the little sprinkles on it. I can't find them, so I have to find the next best thing. So I'm always on the hunt. And I'm 3 Christmas cookie tins in now. Not tins, but options in now. But that's kind of my thing. And
so you don't do the
every year blue, makes cookies with
what's that blue tin?
Nah, I don't do that. That's I don't do that. It's not
basic.
Z will make cookies with Skylar and TJ. More so Skylar every year for Santa every year. So she does that. And then especially if somebody comes in town, we just stay up and drink, and I put together the gifts while Z just watches me put together all the gifts. which is never fun. And so,
I do not miss those.
And I cook. And I think that's for me is like the holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas. Is cooking is more my tradition, and Skylar's asking more so, can she help? And I think I have to be more proactive and not think about the mission of getting the meal complete, but the process of getting, sharing that memory with her. Even if it's like, hey, I'm gonna show you, pull up a chair, sit down and watch daddy go do, do this and this. So, because that's to this day is something I share with my mom as my passion, for creating a good meal, and because I still call her to this day. The yams I made for Thanksgiving, I had to, asking if she had some new methods, and she sent me a new recipe that my sister actually sent her because we all try to cook. I think all my siblings can cook. Now that I think about it.
Makes sense.
And I think it's important because I think we've all, and I don't think I'm gonna get emotional this time, but I think we've all been through things recently where we realize memories is all we have. That's all we have of certain people. And so the more memories we can create, and I struggle sometimes, like, do we make those memories just organic, or do you kind of force it? Like, not the experiences. Memories come from experiences. Do you make those experiences organic, or do you kind of, like, I have friends who, like, they're going to take pictures, they're going to do all these things, and they're going to remember, it's like, at the time, it's like, oh my God, why are we doing this? And then when you look back, it's like, man, I'm glad we did this. Right. And so that's where I'm at now, is trying to balance that, where I'm more intentional about creating those experiences and those traditions that hopefully will, the day that comes, I'm not here, my kids are going to remember sitting there cooking lasagna with dad, and their kids are cooking lasagna. And like, that's a family tradition. I go back to This Is Us and all the traditions they kept going on, and it connected them to those people that weren't there, and then it connected the people that were there. It's something that we can all share. We all go our different ways, but there's something that kind of brings us back. Like, I said, we were going to my grandmother's house. No matter what was going on, we were almost upset when people started getting jobs and had to work on Christmas. Like, what you mean you got to work on Christmas? I guess so. That's about it, though. Anything else, fellas?
Oh man, I just make those memories.
I love Christmas though.
Yeah,
yeah.
Christmas is. It's not even. I love Christmas, but I think I love the holiday season. Starting with Halloween. I think Halloween kicks off just good times for me. I like Thanksgiving because I'm spending a little less money and I don't have to do gifts, but I'm cooking and you get people around and you're focused on the right thing, and and it just keeps going on. The letdown is New Year's, after New Year's, and you just back to business as usual, waiting till those next big breaks.
Yep.
All right, let's go ahead and close on out. We got two questions in this week, better than we did last week.
Love, exciting and new.
Hello, Hannah Waddingham here. Have you seen the fabulous new Sun Princess? World-class entertainment, exceptional dining, and the greatest pizza ever.
It's a love.
Don't miss our Come Aboard sale with up to 40% off and free room upgrades. Visit princess.com or call your travel advisor to book. Princess Cruises. Terms and restrictions apply. Offer ends 2/28/25. Ships at Bermudan and British Registry.
Hey, it's Bill Simmons from the Bill Simmons Podcast, here to tell you about Michelob Ultra Courtside. It's getting fans closer to the NBA with a chance to win prizes like courtside seats, a trip to All-Star Weekend, and much more. Check it out at MichelobUltra.com/courtside. Michelob Ultra Superior Access, Courtside 24-25 sweepstakes, no purchase necessary. Open to U.S. residents 21 and up. Begins on October 1st, 2024, ends July 1st, 2025. Multiple entry periods. Visit MichelobUltra.com/courtside for free entry deadlines, and official rules. Message and data rates may apply. Void where prohibited.
I've spoken to several people about this now, so I no longer feel bad for not knowing this. So if the listeners and you two already knew this and you want to say, how did you not know that? I don't care, because I talked to people and they didn't know. But Poetic Justice is a sequel to Boys in the Hood. Now, I know they have a lot of the similar characters in it. I know that. But I just thought, just like some directors do, that they use the same actors. Like Adam Sandler does it a lot with his movies. He recycles the same actors. I just thought, okay, John Singleton, he liked those people. He put them in his next movie. But nah, man, like when Regina King's character threatens brush your hair,
Lucky.
Joe Torre.
Mm-hmm. No, not Lucky. No, Lucky. Chicago. Is his name? No, that's
Chicago. Yeah, Chicago. Yeah. It was Chicago. Yeah, she mentions the Boys and the Hood characters. Yeah, and just, when Tupac's walking to his baby mom's house, the car pull up, they're going to get revenge on the people that I think just killed Doughboy, if I'm not mistaken, or who killed Doughboy. So that was cool. And then I saw this video where they were trying to connect Doughboy and Ricky's mom to the
shop owner.
The shop owner. Like, I know it's the same person, but I think they were saying that that's her. That's still her. Like,
that's her job.
Now that she's lost both of her sons, she got an insurance payout. She started a hair salon, and that's why she was so against Justice dating Tupac, because she knows what street guys bring. So, and speaking of Justice, her boyfriend Q-Tip at the beginning, he get blasted by one of the cats from Boys in the Hood. So, listen, I didn't know. Like I said, I just watched the movie. I didn't pay attention to who the hell Monster and whoever the other dude is that Regina King yells out. I didn't pay that attention. I just thought he was recycling actors. But it makes me want to watch both movies again, and that's always a plus.
Yeah, he was doing shared universes before it was a thing.
Yeah, because the only person doing that was Eddie Murphy. Well, he did it once with
Coming to America and Trading Places.
Trading Places, yeah. What you about to say, Frank?
So I saw that recently. So I did know it. I still don't. I think they're, like he said, sharing universes. Yeah, but I love the theory behind it.
It's a stretch for me to call it a sequel. It's not quite a sequel. It's in the same universe. Yeah. So,
or he's just really uncreative and just stumbled upon like, give me two, just knucklehead. What's the dudes from just he Tyler Perry'd it. Use the same actors.
Yeah. Man, I thought I'd seen it all with black neighborhoods being discriminated against, but DC, the Attorney General for DC, is suing Amazon Prime. They are charged. So there are 2 zip codes in DC that are not getting prime timing shipping on their products, even though they pay for Prime. So basically, they're paying for Prime membership, but their packages are getting there like a week later.
Oh, they're not getting the free 2-day.
Yeah, Amazon said, "Hey man, look, we gotta protect our drivers." And it's real dangerous in the neighborhoods. So we've been relying on the post office to deliver y'all shit. I don't mean to laugh.
Yeah, you do.
But that's what Amazon said.
That was their response.
Yes, Amazon say, man, look, too many of our drivers that got robbed and shit. But DC isn't really disputing that. They're just saying, hey, well, then don't charge them Prime prices. Say Prime is not available in your area. So I just when you thought it's...
So is that what they do with regular Amazon packages too? Is all...
Yeah,
do they get theirs in 2 weeks? we pay priority. Your Prime membership gets you priority shipping. That's 3 to 5 days.
So, man, that kind of tripped me out. And the last thing I want to say, last 2 things I want to say is, one, listeners, make sure you subscribe Three Brothers No Sense, available on any podcast platform, as well as Inspire You on Air /Contentville. And also, this show will air during Brother Ferg's birthday. So happy birthday
appreciate it, bro.
to you, brother.
Yeah, most definitely.
It was funny. I literally was telling one of my coworkers happy early birthday earlier today, and I forgot my birthday's next week.
It happens, man. It happens. So
Four.
Yeah, man. So that all you got, Buff?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
That's it, man.
All right. Two things. First of all, just reporting the CEO of United Healthcare was murdered before we recorded the show. Assassinated, whatever. And with that, Anthem is another insurance company. So United Healthcare is an insurance company for folks who don't know. And Anthem is another insurance company that I don't know if this made a difference in their decision, but they announced that they were going to put anesthesiologists on a time limit, and they were only going to pay for a certain amount of time based on whatever surgery you're going to have. And after that, then they weren't going to pay for the anesthesia anymore. And so basically doling out healthcare based on some arbitrary number of minutes or whatever, or length of time for every surgery. And they announced it this morning, or it broke this morning. And then we found out the United Healthcare CEO was assassinated. And there was also an outcry about that, right? Anesthesiologist came out and was like, that's stupid. We never know how a surgery is going to go. We may have to keep a person under longer. You can't just put a number on it. And so when they came out with that, Anthem has reversed course all in a day. And said, yeah, we okay, all right, we overstepped. That was stupid.
They're going to lose some people.
I think they are going to lose some people, because we've seen that with Netflix and all these other folks that was like, oh, we're going to charge for password sharing. And then when the outcry happened, they walked it back. And 4 months later, they came back and said, okay, now that the outcry is over, let's go ahead and implement it. And I'm worried that that's what's going to happen with Anthem. There is that they're going to walk it back, and then maybe months later, they're just going to be like, they're just going to slide it in there into their, terms of agreements and stuff like that.
They're going to get sued for that. I mean, it's surgery, anesthesia is too risky. And, yeah, I can't see that working. But hey,
we say that, but I mean, Georgia has fired their entire medical reporting groups in their government medical reporting groups because they leaked about the whole, people dying because of their healthcare laws. And, their laws directly led to these deaths. And then they fired the folks who tried to report it. So I think, Buff, you reported on that last week, right? Or talked about that. So, it's scary, man, that we're getting to this point where they're trying to decide people's health care, right? And everything else, just based off of insurance and everything. But then when people talk about universal health care, and they say, well, we don't want that because we don't want the government telling us what we can do and can't do. I'm like, insurance already do that. Insurance companies tell you what you can do and what you can't do for a surgery or whatever. There's no difference if the government had a universal healthcare provider. So just wanted to throw that out there. And finally, shout out to Beyonce, because Billboard has named her the #1 pop artist of the 21st century, even though we're only a quarter of the way into the 21st century. So I don't know how she's the pop star of the 21st century. But yeah, she has been named over Taylor Swift and anybody else. So shout out to Beyonce.
Going back to the guy that killed the United CEO, I know these types of crimes are usually always solved. I'm going to be a little surprised if they catch him.
None.
For the simple fact, and I said this in the group chat, this dude bought a fresh cup of coffee before he shot this man. This is a man, I think, that had a plan. And the fact that he was able to get out of the busiest city, the busiest area in the busiest city in the country, and the fact that he went and got a fresh cup of coffee. I hate to laugh at that. I just can't imagine that type of calm for what you're about to do.
He's professional. This is some GTA type stuff, bro. This is some Assassin's Creed.
Ferg, who go gets coffee? You usually drink like some liquor. Who gets coffee before an assassination?
Assassins. How many assassins you know?
I'm so glad the barista didn't get his order wrong. Like that's crazy to me, man. I don't think
they're gonna catch Buddy.
Do they actually have pictures of like his face or whatever? Like, how do they know
he's smiling in the? Oh, okay. He's smiling in one of the pictures. Yeah. So
wow.
I just
said internet sleuths are on it. The internet's hey man,
the comments are brutal.
That was one of the things I was
out of the country by now. That's the thing. He's gone.
Yeah, he's sitting in Wisconsin somewhere chilling. I just don't see it, you know. So, my last thing, and I'm not going to read it all, and I just hope, Ryder, you can post it in our group. The post you made about, because I think it was a hot topic last year, about telling kids about Santa Claus. I love how they rolled that out, the way they presented that.
Yeah.
And it was very, I think, it's a very thoughtful approach. And I kind of was going where I was going, but I think they just hit it on a whole nother level I didn't even think about. And I think we should share that with the people.
Yeah, definitely.
But kudos to that, man. And so I read it to Z, and she was like, because Skylar's at that age, and I think she's teetering on believing. It didn't help that I personally know an elf, and I introduced her to Portia via FaceTime this past weekend. So shout out to Portia /PD Slay as in, you know, reindeer Slay. I think that's what that stands for. But we FaceTime, and they got to see a real life elf. And I mean, she had the rosy cheeks and the nose and all this stuff, and it was a thing of beauty. You know, thank you, Portia. On behalf of Team for keeping the Christmas magic alive in our house. So if you want your kids to believe, she can turn that into a side hustle. She could turn that into a side hustle. I mean, she has elf-like qualities outside of that potty mouth, you know. But I mean, we saw Elf the movie, and there was that, maybe she's related to the little angry elf that was on Elf. So, we usually watch a Christmas movie. We try to watch a Christmas movie every week over Christmas break. Every weekend. So movie night.
Hey, that's another tradition. We watch. I don't know if it's every week, but we definitely watch Christmas movies with the family.
All right. So without got nothing else to say. Shout out to our listeners. 3 Brothers No Sense. 6 Rules of Podcast. Listen, like, share, subscribe, comment, and most importantly, listen again. Talk to you next week. That might have been 5. I don't know. 3, 4.